call the meeting to order. This is a special meeting for the Hayden City Council, Tuesday, August 17th, 2021. It's just a minute or so past 5 p.m. Can you do roll call, please, Abby?
Yes. Council President Satterfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Roeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Panabaker?
Yes.
And Councilmember Delane?
Yes.
Jerry, would you like to lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions or corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, let's get on with new business. The approval of the Hayden Area Regional Sewer Board fiscal year 2022 budget. Ken, thanks for coming.
All right, I want to thank council for doing this special meeting so we can get our budget approved by you all and then go on and approve it by the board this coming Thursday. This is a discussion for the 2021-2022 budget year for the Hayden Area Regional Sewer Board. The O&M budget for 21 and 22 is $2,119,643. This is the operations and maintenance budget, buying the electricity, the chemicals, paying the operators, so on and so forth. Compared to 21, it's only a $35,000 and change increase, or about 1.6% increase. We had an FCS study done, and at that time, November 2016, they figured we'd be just over $2 million, and we're not too far from it. Here is a diagrammatic breakdown of where all our costs are going. Obviously, the largest one is employees, followed by maintenance and utilities, and so on and so forth. Any questions on this?
Just one thing, and I just want to make sure I remember this correctly. Although we as a city have a cap fee for delivery of the sewage, Harbs maintains the pipe to make sure it's all flowing correctly, the pipe that we have in the ground.
Yeah, we maintain the force mains from the pump stations to the treatment plant. Harbs owns those, and yes, we maintain those, and that's, in fact, that's in this budget here.
Okay, I just want to make sure, so we don't own, the city does not own all of the lines, we only own some of them.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
thank you.
correct. Replacement, we have a replacement budget plan. This was set up by FCS back in November of 2016. Last year it was $1.2 million. This year it's gonna be $1.3 million, and we'll be using that as part of the upgrade for the tertiary treatment. So the total budget for 2021-2022 O&M plus replacement is $3,419,643. Okay. And the biggest increase here is the $100,000 extra for the replacement. Any questions? This is a breakdown of what the city will be seeing come October 1st. You're gonna have an increase of a total of $8,399 a month over the over what you're paying right now. And you are at 75.75% of the Harbs budget. That's what you're paying for, 75.75%.
Ken, what was it last year when we started the budget year? Do you remember?
Your percentage?
Yeah.
I think it was down around 73 last year, as I recall.
And we own 74%, the city does of Harbs.
Yes. This is what was publicized in the paper for our budget. This is not a straightforward, this counts everything, including the kitchen sink, as to what we have to advertise. The city has to do it, all Idaho entities per Idaho statutes require to provide this documentation. Oh, let's not go there. So really, this is the bottom line here. Do you have any questions on this? Your budget for 2021-22?
You might just, or explain the number on the collection. Harbs does help the city, with, maintenance of our collection system, and so we pay them an additional amount, and that's what's showing there, Canada.
Yes, that is to maintain the city's pump stations, cleaning the sewer lines, responding to alarms, 24-hour, 7-day-a-week coverage. That's all part of the $117,000 you see under O&M, collections and O&M.
A question regarding that, apparently the Hayden Lake Recreation Water Sewer District does not pay Harbs anything, or does the airport for the collection O&M?
That is correct. They maintain their own systems,
Okay.
and they pay other people to do that.
Thank you.
This is kind of off subject a little bit, but it just occurred to me, and one of the major, and I was talking earlier about it, one of the major purchases that we made, and I think one of the best things that we've ever done in the past, was buying the acreage that we have for dry land application.
Mm-hmm.
And with the growth in the county and the availability of property, if the building slows down, which I think we all kind of hope it will, but is there any plan or anything in the works for purchasing additional property for dry land application?
Not at this time. Not at this time. I have talked to Kyle Myers, who owns the land directly across Bakel from us.
Yeah.
If he would consider to using the reuse water. He could own the land, but we would provide reuse water.
Okay.
Because Kyle's, every time I talk to him, he's gonna have the kids keep the farm going for him. So that would provide us potentially another outlet as we need it. But today, we have plenty of capacity with the existing land application acreage.
Good, thanks.
Mhm. Well, I did, since I don't come very often, I wanted to remind people that, the toilet is not a trash can, okay? Put the trash in the can, put the pee in the poop in the potty, okay? It really is an issue, and I'm gonna try driving this message out more often, because Emerald Oaks, it's almost on a weekly basis, we're out cleaning pumps because of the rag material people are putting down the toilet and getting into the pumps, so. And always, when you flush, think of us. Questions?
Yeah.
I have another one. If I'm looking at the publicized budget that go in the paper in the very bottom, when we look at fiscal year 19-20 compared to fiscal year 20-21 and 21 and 22, there's about a $10 million difference between the 19 and 20 fiscal year, the 20 and 21 and 21 and 22. Why is there such a $10 million difference for those two subsequent years?
Yeah, and if you look right here, you can see the difference with the construction of the BNR system was included in this year here.
Okay, and the BNR means?
Being the biological nutrient removal we did during phase 1 in our upgrade program to meet the new discharge requirements.
Okay, and then out of those fees of around, it's about $40 million.
Yeah.
How much of that is to meet regulatory, and how much of it is to increase the capacity, roughly?
We are not increasing the treatment plant capacity. However, as we put new components in, just like in phase 1, when we put something in the ground, we design it for at least 2.4 MGD. So the BNR tanks, they were designed for 2.4 MGD. The Headworks facility, because you can't modularly expand the Headworks facility, it was designed for 4.8 MGD. So we'll never have to do anything to the Headworks because it's got the capacity up to 4.8. When we get above 2.4 down the road, we'll have to put in a whole new biological treatment system. that's hopefully
So-
after I retire.
So one last question. How much capacity do we have left?
We are averaging about 1.18 million gallons a day, and our current capacity is 2.0 million gallons a day. So there's plenty of treatment capacity in the treatment facility. Because we're only at 1.8, and we can, 1.18, and we can go up to 2.0. Does that make sense? You look puzzled.
Well, yeah, it just, those volumes, it's like, well, what does that equate into an EU or EW?
Well, my math isn't very good.
How many more houses could that accommodate, I guess is the question.
We are just under 10,000. We can probably go up to 12,000, and that's off the top of my head. I think it's even more than that, isn't it, Brett? Okay.
Well, I think the last rule at the meeting was 1,250 something, at the current daily rate. And so you're mentioning, you know, the plant capacity, what's coming in and what the plant can do. But then you also have the numbers DEQ's approved before, and I think we have the 1,200, but then we also had talked about, as we look at the flow rates, we may adjust that down, which I think it showed we could give another 1,500 to 2,000 or something like that. So, and then the plan, the increase, right, as far as the 2.4 million gallons, you're putting, as you mentioned, the components in. So when we go from 2 to 2.4, it's not a huge cost to get that increment.
Yeah, when we finish the next phase, which we're gonna start hopefully in October, the tertiary treatment is designed for 2.4 MGD, actually it's 2.6. The solar dryer is designed for 2.6 as well. The only outstanding items to get us to a full 2.4 rating is upgrading the H3 pump station. And the H3 pump station takes the wastewater, pumps it up over the hill and sends it down Atlas Road. That requires changing out the pumps or putting in bigger motors. The other thing that's on the list is how much aeration capacity we have with the current horsepower on top of the aerators. And that'll a study we'll do after we get all done with this. The other thing that DEQ may want is they may want us to have an alternate discharge line. In other words, right now, everything goes down one pipe, Atlas Road. Well, they may want us to put it down, our second line down Hutter Road. We already have the line in Saltese, but from Saltese to the plant, we don't have a line. And it's on the capital list. Mr. Pennebaker.
With that in mind and the Atlas, I was on board when we did the outfall down Atlas Road, and one of the things was, there was a big concern about effluent to the river. And of course, the TMDL at the state line, is there any mention that from the EPA or the DOE on the Washington side of changing that, tightening it up on us or anything like that?
We have not heard that at all.
But if that happened,
We're gonna hire the lawyers.
yeah. And okay, and one other thing, years ago, we looked at some way to get rid of our wastewater. We've talked about this, and there was a big waste energy plant out there on the prairie, and we couldn't supply enough water at that time for them. Has anything changed so that we have the ability to do something like that?
We are marginally able to provide just enough water for them, but of course, one of their customers is Post Falls, and they are within the Post Falls district. So Post Falls may want to do it. One of the other things is that we need to be at the tertiary treatment level before we can think about making boiler quality water to give to the boilers at Concentrics. I was project manager on a project in Hawaii to do exactly that, take wastewater effluent and make boiler quality water for the power plants and refineries out in Campbell Industrial Park. So I'm very familiar with how that's done.
Yeah.
But today, we do not have the water to do that, quality and quantity.
Thank you.
Kim, the TMDL, total maximum daily load discharge standards that we have to meet, and that's why we're doing the new construction. What's the deadline to meet that?
We have to be in full compliance by November 30th, 2024.
which we're projected to.
I'm hoping to start construction, notice to proceed, the second week in October. This is, the board will find out on Thursday, but we're trying to get moving sooner so that the contractor has a few more weeks of fall construction before winter comes around our way. We will be done with construction of the tertiary phase, including the biosolids, by December 31st, 2022. That gives us a year and 8 months to meet the final requirements at 2024.
Okay, thanks, Ken.
Mr. Pennebaker.
I think there's a mistaken feeling by a lot of people that every increase in costs and every increase in what we do with the plant out there is due directly to new people moving in, which is not the case. Because the federal government changes the rules and tightens up on the restrictions, so what we have to do also that costs a lot of money is bring everybody else up to speed that's already being serviced, is that correct?
That is correct.
And that's a big expense constantly, and it isn't all blamed on new people, it's the people here that have to pay it too.
Yeah, you've been here quite a while, and your connection value is going from being basic secondary treatment to tertiary treatment, and you're gonna pay for it through the loan that the city is getting to pay for those upgrades.
Ken, do you see, okay, you know, the state of Washington EPA gets to set the limits on us, if that's sort of, sort of, you know? Do you see the land application going, because it's, you know, over the aquifer, do you see that being affected in the near future? That we're not gonna be able to apply as much, or we're gonna have to change the quality of what we do put on the land?
Currently, our Idaho Department of Environmental Quality water reuse permit is established and set so that none of the water that we apply to the farm passes the root zones of the crops we are growing up there. So it does not reach the aquifer.
That's
And that
economic rates.
Agronomic rates, exactly.
Any other questions?
No, not for me.
I might just mention, I think this is probably important for the city specifically, that on the replacement side of things, Ken has in here budgeted $290,000 for the honeysuckle 4th Street. We plan on doing that road project next year, and so the H1 line comes down through there. And so they will need to do some work in that project, and so he has some money budgeted in the replacement to do that. So I appreciate that that's in there. And then also in the H6 connection to Force Main, that whole H6 project, that may be light, but I realize you've got something in there holding that. So
Great.
and then I had one question on the chemicals. The polymer has gone way up, like doubling this year.
Yeah.
What are you at? Because we're not going to have the new filters in, but are we doing something different with the chemicals?
We've seen significant price increases with the polymer. Polymer is based upon petroleum, and as everybody knows, petroleum prices are now higher. So that is one of the reasons. And be it the biological phosphorus nutrient process is working very well. And as a result, you take a soluble, dissolved piece of phosphorus and you turn it into a particle. That particle becomes biosolids, and you can't make biosolids without polymer. So we've seen an increase in polymer usage just because we're producing more solids due to the bugs removing the phosphorus from the wastewater. Now down the road, we're hoping, based upon the regular tests we do in the lab today, that when we put tertiary online, that the biological nutrient system will work well enough that we do not have to add ferric to achieve our requirements. If the ferric, if our total phosphorus goes up to 5 milligrams per liter, it comes into the plant 6 to 8. But if the effluent goes up to 5 milligrams per liter, we'll be spending $1.2 million in ferric a year. That's $8 a month to every connection in the city of Hayden. So let's pray that the bugs keep doing their thing.
Ken?
Yes.
The last time I was, at Harbs, you showed me the software. How old is that software?
We installed that back in, I think, 2015,
Okay.
14, no, 15, it was 15, yeah.
I just wanted to bring up, and maybe you could touch a little bit on that software, how, it's amazing how you can take the different locations and get, the statistics, you know, like at each point. And, I was really impressed at how well that worked. So maybe, I'm not sure if the other council members are aware of that.
Yeah, our facility pretty much runs by itself. The operators simply tweak it to go in a different, it's like a railroad, BNSF, you know, it's running down the track, somebody in the house switches the switch, it switches to a different track. We basically do the same thing. There's a PLC, programmable logic controller, that runs the same thing all the time until we tweak it in a different direction. That's what the PLC does. What Jerry is referring to is the human-machine interface. We use what's called VT-SCADA. It's a Windows-based software that is extremely powerful in the way it handles data. So if we have a parameter that's doing something we don't want it to do, and we want to find out what's causing that parameter to change, the operators can go through and pick up tags or equipment information on separate graphs, and they can find the one that's doing the jump that's causing the one we're concerned about to make a change. And then we can focus on the one that made the jump and fix that problem. It really is a very powerful program, and it's Windows-based, so the plant staff keeps it updated. We don't have a consultant to do anything with the human-machine interface. We do have a programmer, a very good programmer on retainer that does PLC stuff, computer stuff, the things that make it run. But normally you don't change that but once or twice a year at the most. But the human-machine interface is the operators want different information. They can go in, grab it from the PLC, and have it visually displayed on the screens.
And another thing I liked was the fact that you have a copy on your home computer. So if there's ever an emergency, no matter where Ken's at, as long as he has a computer, he can get on and see exactly what's going on.
Yeah, case in point, February 11th, 2016, we had 2.13 million gallons a day come in the plant. And we had 2 clarifiers that had several feet of ice in the bottom of it, so the guys were stuck with just 2 clarifiers. At the time I was in Bangkok, Thailand, and the guys had been up for 24 hours. I told them to go to sleep. I took my computer, logged into the hotel Wi-Fi, connected to the plant, and I ran the plant from Bangkok. And my connection from Bangkok to Hayden was better than my connection from Bigelow Gulch to Hayden. So it really is powerful.
Any other questions?
No.
Thanks, Ken. Okay, we have a motion to approve or not approve the budget of the Hayden Area Regional Sewer.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022 Hayden Area Regional Sewer Budget.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any further comments? Okay, roll call please, Abby.
Councilmember Roder?
Yes.
Council President Satterfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Panabaker?
Yes.
And Councilmember Delang.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
Now our toilet's flush for another year, huh?
There you go.
We're thinking of you.
So moved.
So moved?
Oh.